A knife? Are you flirting with me? Fayetz_Kingston on AO3. Summary. Alright, students. Aizawa said. He was balled up in his sleeping bag on the grass in front of UA's dormitory. Uraraka was surprised. He let his treasured sleeping bag get dirty. It must have been a hard day. Drills. You know them? I love them, because it means I don't have to babysit you chaotic kids for a few hours. Groans were heard from the group of students on the dorm stairs. The entire class had been gathered outside of this unholy hour of 3 a.m. I didn't ask for this, so don't blame me. Nezu wants busy work. Here it is. One by one, you'll go on patrol routes throughout the city. It's the same course every year. You'll give me an impromptu weapon outside of your comfort zone to patrol with. This will help your openness things with new things. Maybe dexterity. Or weapons training. I don't have time to plan this. Or, the title. The prompt is the title. Lol. Episode 1. Chapter 1. Alright, students. Aizawa said. He was balled up in his sleeping bag on the grass in front of UA's dormitory. Uraraka was surprised. He let his treasured sleeping bag get dirty. It must have been a hard day. Drills. You know them? I love them, because it means I don't have to babysit you chaotic kids for a few hours. Groans were heard from the group of students on the dorm stairs. The entire class had been gathered outside of this unholy hour of 3 a.m. I didn't ask for this, so don't blame me. Nezu wants busy work. Here it is. One by one, you'll go on patrol routes throughout the city. It's the same course every year. You'll give me an impromptu weapon outside of your comfort zone to patrol with. This will help your openness things with new things. Maybe dexterity. Or weapons training. I don't have time to plan this. Ida stuck his hand up shakily. Aizawa-sensei. Yes? Are we gonna go one at a time without our weapons of choice to simulate an ambush? Yes, that's what it meant to say. Aizawa said. Excellent. Ida chopped through the air with his hand. I volunteer to go first after my final question. Okay. Is that an okay to request my first or my question? Question. Ida nodded. Are there going to be heroes waiting along the course to simulate a fight? Yes, they've agreed to spend their entire day, the next 20 hours, tormenting you. I'm one of them. I printed out the order in which you're to go. Next one leaves when the last one arrives. Aizawa yanked his free hand from his sleeping bag, a stack of papers clutched in it. Pass them around. Okay. Midori ran forward and accepted the papers. He began passing them out to the sleepy students. Aizawa wouldn't be surprised if none of them remembered this conversation in a few hours' time. Bakugo was yet to cuss or start a singular argument as they stood there, eyes closed. Was he asleep? Problem child 1.5. Yeah? Midori asked. At the same time, Bakugo was opening his eyes and glaring at the teacher. Me or Deku? He shouted. You can't give us the same damn name. Glad you're awake. You listed from most problematic to least. You two are tied at first. Aizawa said. He fought back a yawn. Perhaps there was some coffee at his waiting point. Everyone see their papers? It starts at 4. Problem child number 3, you're up first. Todoroki nodded. I've seen the paper, I understand. And problem child 16, you're last. Oh, okay, Uraraka said. She felt surprisingly chipper this very early morning. Guess Bakugo is right about going to bed early. It really did help. Well, maybe not help him, but Uraraka wasn't exactly surprised by that. Or perhaps she just hadn't seen a sleep-deprived Bakugo yet. Aizawa ditched his sleeping bag with a sigh. Oh, and the route is on the bulletin board inside. Not completing your route will be seen as failing grade. Maybe I'll expel you, maybe I won't. I haven't decided yet. Use your time wisely. Before Aizawa could even turn around and begin heading to UA's main gate, most of the class was already back inside. Most of the students took one look at the simple route and left to go back to their rooms. Todoroki and Asu stayed out in the lounge, having the first 2 slots. I should go now, Todoroki said. He stood up and headed for the gate. Uraraka having the most time. Figured a nap could come later. Hey, Sue, she said. Hey, Kita. Sue greeted. Not going back to bed? I'll keep you company until you leave. I've got all day. Uraraka said. Yeah, you get to go last. Lucky. Sue yawned a bit. It's still so cold outside, too. Bring a jacket? I was going to bring one, and a thermos, too. Uraraka smiled. Probably for the best. It'll be pitch black when I finally get my turn. I'll have to bring a flashlight. I might have to bring one, too. The sun doesn't start coming up till 5 this time of the year. Sue said. An hour passed, and Todoroki returned to the dormitory, a long piece of steel pipe clenching in his hand. Also, it's your turn, he said. All right, kiddo. Wish me luck, Ochako, she said with a smile. You'll do fine without it. It's just practice. Once she left, Uraraka decided a nap on the couch was in order, so she could monitor everyone's progress. A beery-eyed Tokuyami startled her as he wandered in and plopped into the couch at 4:45. Sorry, came his raspy voice. He cleared it. I didn't mean to wake you. It's fine. I haven't even fallen asleep yet. Uraraka waved her hand dismissively. I wanted to see how everyone was doing anyways. You know the route? He scratched the back of his head. Maybe. I'll take another look now. Thanks. Asui walked in at 4:58 with a sledgehammer in hand. Tokuyami? Here, he said. Dark Shadow was waiting beside him, bobbing his head with excitement. Let's go! How'd you do, Sue? Uraraka asked. Walked, fought, won, sleep time now, she said as she treaded past Uraraka and down the hall to her room. Were they allowed to keep the weapons? Todoroki and Asui did, at least. Jiro stumbled down the hall, grumbling, her eyes still closed, at 5:50. Hey, Koyama, Uraraka said. She sat up and stretched on the couch. Falling back asleep wasn't going well. Uraraka doubted she'd get a nap today. Maybe it was nerves? Hey, tired? Wide awake, Jiro mumbled. You're about to walk into a wall, Uraraka said. She laughed when Jiro opened her eyes long enough to avoid it before closing them again. Do you know the route? Yes, Mother, Jiro hissed. Okay. Easy, sleepyhead, Uraraka said. Good luck. She stopped when Tokuyami walked in. Dark Shadow had a brooded sword clutched between its jaws. Jiro, Tokuyami said blankly. Dope, she said. Can we keep the cool stuff? Tokuyami nodded. Aizawa-sensei said we could. They apparently are all from the Lost and Found. When Jiro came back armed with a single shuriken, she wasn't as excited anymore. Bakugo with nunchucks was a choice. Midoriya coming back with a claymore mine seemed to indicate the rarity. He looked terrified of it. Uraraka wondered how many he started with. Shinso dropped a spiked bat at the floor when he came back in, seemingly not to want it. Jiro claimed it as a consolation prize. Momo was surprisingly good at weaponizing the trumpet she'd earned with. Uraraka only blinked. Hiroshima having a giant shield was thematically fitting. So was him talking about how manly it felt to smack people with it. Mina had been given a thin metal wire, apparently used to strangle people. She couldn't make use of it in the fight, but that she suddenly wished Mineta hadn't been expelled. Interesting. Sero had tape wrapped around his hands, and Uraraka wasn't sure if it was the product of his own quirk or not. He showed her the brass knuckles in his pocket, explaining that they were hurting his hands, so he swinging them at the end of the tape. Ina was next, walking through the door, sporting a mace. Uraraka was thoroughly amused by the idea of him running around like Sonic with a mace. Hagakure walked in with an armful of grenades, though she was quick to elaborate that they were only flashbangs. Aoyama, coming back with only a half-empty container of glitter, said 2 things about him. 1, his ability to weaponize glitter and win. 2, his ability to get none of his clothes, save for his already glittered cape. Ojiro looked distressed as he ran back inside, a horseshoe in his hand. Shoji, on the other hand, was perfectly comfortable with the tear gas he was given. Uraraka wondered how he kept it from hurting his own eyes, especially with so many of them. Koda carried a cub back into the dormitory, looking far more confident and intimidating while doing so. Whoever armed Sato with a whiskey was simultaneously a genius and the downfall of the teachers. He sure knew how to use that thing. He seemed happy with adding it to his collection afterwards, though. Where's Denki? Uraraka asked as the clock hit 11. Shouldn't he be back by now? The fight must be taking longer. They give you the weapons at the gate, but that doesn't mean you're used to it by the time the fight starts. So you said. Don't worry about it. It wasn't until 11:45 that Denki came straggling to the door, boxing gloves in hands. Sorry, Ochako, He blinked once, twice. Used my quirk a little extra. Whoops. It's alright, Uraraka said. I'm going now. Wait. Kaminari turned to her. He squinted. They told me to tell you something. I think it was to hurry up and go before it's time? Time for what? Uraraka asked. Maybe for them to leave? I remember the hurry up and go part because they kept telling that to me while I was getting my brain gear back in. You probably should go. Yeah, Uraraka said, running off. Thanks, Denki. When Uraraka got to the gate, continuing to jog in place, she noticed Recovery Girl at the weapon stand. Uraraka, she said. You're a bit late because of the electricity boy, aren't you? Yeah. They told him to tell me to hurry up and get out of there? Uraraka said. All right, I'll get you set up with a little something. Here. She ducked down under the desk and rifled through a box of weapons. Uraraka saw a rubber chicken in there and hoped she'd get something good. Or at least, a weapon. She'd take anything that did more physical than emotional harm, honestly. Aha, perfect! Recovery Girl dropped a kitchen knife on the table. A sheath that could clip onto her waist sat beside it. Thanks, Uraraka said as she snatched up the two items. She clipped it on, and sheathed the knife as she ran. It looked oddly familiar. After taking the entire time spent waiting for Kaminari to arrive to study the route, Uraraka was confident in her ability to run it. 15 minutes into her not-so-leisurely exposure, she was surprised to not encounter any heroes yet. The heroes back in the dorm were a bit surprised not to see her either. Problem child number 6. Didn't I tell you to tell her to stay here? Aizawa asked Kaminari. You said hurry up and go. I was telling you to hurry up and get back here, so you could tell Uraraka to stay here. Oh, well, Kaminari said. I told her to leave like 15 minutes ago. Well, she'll be back when she completes the route. It'll only be an hour, maybe more if she thinks we're still there and plays it cautiously. Aizawa said. I'll stay up and make sure she gets back safely. If she isn't back by 2, I'll head out. The rest of you go to sleep. It's been a long day. Where'd they go? Uraraka asked herself as she walked through the alley. She should be about halfway through the route by now. Were they all hidden at the end, or was something wrong? Peering down the alley, Uraraka noticed a shadow move in front of her. The person casting it, however, had to be behind her. Guess there wasn't anything worse. Just a sneak attack. Hey, Chaco. Uraraka spun around quickly, glaring in the dim light of the street. The light came from behind her, blocking her vision more than the darkness alone would. What did you do? What? I've just been watching your silly games all day. The heroes all went back already. I was so sad that I wouldn't get to see you, but it seems like you came out here for me. Toga cheered. I didn't. I thought they were still out here. Uraraka admitted. Damn it, Denki. Nope, they left a little while ago. Toga said, gasping. We could fight. I saw them all fighting. I could help. Uraraka could hear her grin. No way, just... Uraraka paused, trying to remember the class about talking down villains. I'd rather talk. Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do that. Toga drew closer. Uraraka backed up. Sorry, I need to go right now. I meant later. Uraraka couldn't make out the expression Toga wore in the dim light. She hoped it was a good one, though. If you don't have time to stay and talk, why shouldn't I just keep you here with a fight? Toga asked after a moment. Before Uraraka could think up of any answer, Toga charged at her, knife swinging wildly. Uraraka pulled out her own from the belt, albeit clumsily, and was about to block a single swing before it was dislodged from her hand. What was that? Toga asked. It seemed like she couldn't see too well in the dark of the alley either. Uraraka didn't answer, instead ducking another swing and diving over towards where the knife flew. It was probably better to be armed in this situation, and maybe if Toga didn't know what she had, she'll back off some. Okay, alright. Am I pushing it? Maybe I am. I'm really pushing it. I'm going through all the one-shots. Kingston is specifically the Toga Ochako one-shots, right? I'll go back and find the non-Toga Ochako one-shots. Like, I think I skipped one, which was the Mario one I'm gonna skip. I hate angel numbers. Sorry. I've been seeing a lot of them today, and yesterday, and a lot of the time, actually. It's getting annoying. Anyways, I am liking the premise so far, kind of. I'm interested in where this is gonna go. I like the prompt, a knife, are you flirting with me? That is so funny. It is so hilarious. I like the idea of Aizawa naming them problem child number 1, problem child number 1.5, problem child number 3, problem child number 5, problem child number 16, like stuff like that. I find that hilarious. I did see that there was like a numberations at the end, so I'm guessing that's what problem child is what. So we know that 16 is Uraraka, we know that 1.5 is both Bakugo and Izuku, which, hilarious that they're tied. So I'm really excited to see all of those. You're probably gonna see it in the next episode, not next chapter. I'm cutting this into 2. 1, because it's almost 30 minutes, it looks to be 30 minutes, right? So I'm gonna cut it in half, just so I could extend it to 2 episodes. I'm not doing this so I could have more time with Kingston. I do not know what you're talking about. Turn around. That is not what's happening here. Okay, maybe. I've already decided that after I've done all of Kingston's work, and while we wait for Kingston to upload more, Orphaned Account is going to take over this slot. It will never be another writer. It will forever be orphaned because Kingston is not here. Sorry, I find that hilarious in my mind. But, oh my. But yeah, oh my god. Okay, anyways, I am so excited that we got to do this. It's so cute. I cannot wait to see what happens next. I wonder how the fighting goes to flirting. Do they flirt? Is it an actual flirt kind of situation? Like, what happens? So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.